Hey, for old A-Rod. What's up, everybody? It's episode 3, man. We happy
What's
to be
going
here with
on?
everyone. Joey made a call with me executively, actually, before the episode. He was on stream with Kai. I can't really get
Yeah,
into too
no
much
doubt.
what they had going on, but he hollered at me. He said, man, go ahead and take care of the intro. So, man, we happy to be here with y'all. It's the Fans Union. Logan, how you feeling this evening, man?
Feeling wonderful. It's one day away from more football, so can't complain. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, you look like you just cashed a check today, man, for an undisclosed amount. I ain't going to say too much, but, you looking like $1,000,000, brother. Joey, how you feeling?
I'm terrific. I'm uh I'm ready to get this thing. NFL's here. I've been so ready to talk about this, especially because I've been doing like the college covering and stuff, so I haven't really got the chance to really get into the NFL side, and I'm very excited about that.
You've been a
So
real busy man lately, man. But you got a legend on today. You're wearing a legend. You repping one, so I expect a
yeah,
legendary performance out of you, bro.
yes, sir. You feel me? When
Fair
we get to
enough.
talk about the Falcons, that's probably going to happen. But yeah, guys, we got a lot to talk about today. Going to talk about how our teams did. Tripp's not here with us tonight. He is actually at a meeting with the president. So real top secret. I probably shouldn't even said that. We're going to talk about some of the biggest games from last week, how our teams fared, predict some from this week, and talk about this team and another team, one of Graham's rivals, uh, if their seasons are over with before they get started. Graham, you led the way. Let's talk about the Jets and Steelers. As you guys know, the Steelers ended up coming back at the end of the game in a pretty thrilling game for what it's worth. Yeah, I don't want to say any more about it. Graham, let me hear it.
Yeah, I hate to sound like a homer, but that game actually got my vote for the game of the week. When all things were said and done, I was able to watch, I believe, 5 games this weekend, including that Baltimore Buffalo game, which was full of some high end stuff. But nevertheless, the Jets game had just about everything that you could account for in a football game within it. There was actually, I think, 9 official lead changes at some point. So it got a little
Wow.
bit sticky at the end there. Excuse me. But from a Jets perspective, um, I like that the coach closed out his interviews with that there's no moral victories. That is something that I think is going to resonate with this fan base as far as our outlook and our expectations for this team moving forward. Of course, I don't think anyone realistically has playoff hopes for this team. But we are looking for some stark changes in a couple of different departments. We were the most heavily penalized team in the league last year. I think we ended up with 8 or 9 at the end of this game. So somewhere right there in the middle. We did a lot better in the first half than we did the second. But that comes with playing in high intense ball games. When you're playing against teams that have playoff aspirations, when you're playing against teams with championship aspirations, you're going to constantly be put in situations and positions where you're going to have the opportunity to or not to make some of these, real knucklehead penalties like the Jets had twice in this game. Won't get into the specifics of all that, but just kind of trying to hit on some of the gist as far as what Jets fans' expectations might have been going into this game and how the Jets were able to deliver on a couple of those things. For one, Armand Membu stood out tremendously. I think on PFF, he ended up with an 89.9 grade. He was the
Ooh,
second highest graded rookie around the league this week, right behind Tyler Warren with, I think, like a 90.0. So I could be wrong about Tyler Warren, but I think there was one player on the Colts. I think it was Tyler Warren who graded above Membu. Had an excellent game. Whether you want to call him holds or not, he had 2 pancake blocks on TJ Watt himself, and the game tape will show that. So an excellent game out of the rookie from that perspective. And the O-line in general held up really well for Justin Fields, who ultimately I think just had a complete resurgence coming out party for the league. Um, whether you wanted to do that from the eye test or the box score, I think it was clear that Justin Fields came out and answered a lot of questions in regards to this team and how we plan on approaching the game from a quarterback standpoint. Coach Aaron Glenn said that he wanted to let Justin Fields be a quarterback, and Tanner Ingstrom clearly showed that in the game plan that they executed from an offensive standpoint. He was able to pretty much command the offense at his own disposal, meaning Justin Fields. Excellent game from him. Couldn't have really asked more out of the offense in general. Not too many drops from the offense. Brees Hall and the gang and host of running backs behind them did what they needed to do from a running back perspective. The defense just let us down. Sauce Gardner had an exceptional game, but that's come to be regular for him at this point. He is the anchor for that defense, and the reason why the Jets went out and paid him and Garrett Wilson this offseason became clearly evident in that game. He was able to shut out their number one target in DK Metcalf for great portions of that game. Sauce Gardner doesn't float and cover like some of the other top corners in the league do. I think Surtain, floats and covers the number one receiver wherever they go. Sauce doesn't typically do that. But when he was on DK, he held up really well. Brandon Stevens and a couple of the new additions we made this offseason, on the other hand, stood out like a sore thumb. Brandon Stevens in particular had a couple of plays that were noteworthy in costing the defense a lot of yards and giving up a lot of mistakes. So really, I wouldn't even say a tale of two halves, really just a tale of two sides. The offense delivered, even players like Mason Taylor, rookie, making his first NFL catch, doing what he needed to do from a blocking standpoint as well. Aaron Rodgers was just able to do what he needed to do with that wide receiver too. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but I believe he's number 10 for the Steelers. He did an excellent job filling in all of the void that was left over from DK, either not being able to get open or not being schemed in a particular play, and stepping up when he needed to step up. I think he had 2 touchdowns on the day. So an excellent day out of number 10 from the Steelers. And I think the coaching also stood out as well. Mike Tomlin was able to make some things happen for his team there at the end of the game from a clock management standpoint and some other things that it showed that Aaron Glenn was in his first professional game as a head coach, and the better team walked away with the win in that regard. But I'll go ahead and let you fill in, Joey.
That was excellent opening there.
Thank you, man.
I mean, yeah, I was at the Falcons game, so I really didn't get to watch a ton. I watched, some film here and there, kind of looked at the box score. And one thing that I've talked to the guys about, one thing we're not going to try and do is be box scout scores. Like, obviously they tell a story, but we're not going to harp super on games that we don't watch personally. I hope you all appreciate that.
For sure.
But I mean, I know it sucks in a game where, you have one turnover, and the turnover, it doesn't lose you the game per se, but God, I feel like they played about as well as you could have asked for an opening Jets game. Because I mean, obviously we've talked about it. The expectations for the East are really for the Jets to be a playoff contender, right? But you still want to, as a fan, you still want to see them play competitively, and I think that's very encouraging to see from week one. Fields, I mean, that could be a guy to build around. Like you were talking about Glenn, I think people really bought into him. I mean, he talked about what's his name, Gibson. In that fumble, he was like, basically alluding to him, hey, if you can't perform, you're not going to be on the field. You may not be on his team. And then he gets cut the same week. So clearly the standards are up in New York. And like we talked about the last episode, or I guess the first one technically, but when you got a guy in the building who played for that team, sometimes it's a little different. And
Absolutely,
I think you could definitely see it in that team. But hey, Logan probably expanded this a little more. Aaron Rodgers, dude, he's not done. He's simply not. He's I mean, threw 8 incomplete passes and 4 touchdowns. I mean, he that dude can still play. And I know obviously he said, I want to beat everybody in that building, which I understand, because basically a new coach came in the office, right, wrong, or indifferent, and said, hey, you're not a part of our future, but telling a 40-year-old quarterback, probably okay. But somebody like Aaron Rodgers, that becoming the chip on their shoulder, I totally get it. So, Logan, go ahead.
I agree. Just to go off Aaron Rodgers real quick, I sent in the group earlier in the week, or I guess it was Monday or so, but Aaron Rodgers is the only quarterback ever to debut for a team, throw for 240, have 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Pretty damn good stat line for someone who was considered washed 5 weeks ago, Like, I know I was speaking on Aaron Rodgers about how he finished the season really well, and I think he started this season pretty damn well as also. But with that being said, going from quarterback to quarterback, I think Aaron Rodgers did his thing. Justin Fields looked exactly like he did last year to start the season off. He, took care of the ball. He didn't have any turnovers. You're talking about Aaron Rodgers only threw eight incompletions, and Justin Fields only threw 6 incompletions. Justin Fields threw for 218. He ran for another 48, so he's just under 270 yards all purpose. He had 3 touchdowns total, 2 on the ground, 1 in the air. I mean, I think Justin Fields, there's a reason for the Jets fans to kind of get excited and get behind Justin Fields on this one. And the brightest side about it all is Justin Fields is still very young. So this could be a quarterback for 10 years realistically, if he really shines out and goes crazy like that. I mean, I know 10 years is a long stretch, but just his age, it's still a possibility for him to show out like that. And I mean, I think to me, the biggest problem for the Jets offensively, they need a number 2 receiver. They need someone to step up and help fill the void whenever Garrett Wilson's getting double covered or safety help. They could really use another weapon. And kind of to go off of what Graham said, it was Calvin Austin as the receiver you were talking about, number 19, actually. Yeah, he did a really good job filling in the void when DK got sauce on him and things of that nature. He had that big touchdown. Calvin Johnson. They wish they had Calvin Johnson. Calvin Austin looked pretty damn good, though. And I'm with Graham. He filled in pretty well on that second receiver slot. But I do look forward to maybe seeing more from the tight ends for the Steelers. I mean, Freiermuth had 3 catches, but I think Freiermuth's a damn good tight end. I think Jonnu Smith's a really good tight end. Everywhere he's went, he's put up yards. Titans, Falcons, we have all seen it.
That boy Arthur's he's going to bring him Jonnu Smith.
Oh, yeah. Credit to the Jets defense, in my opinion, hosting 2 of the better linebackers in the league. I think that is part of the reason why we didn't see guys like Freiermuth get open as much, because guys like Quincy Williams and Jamie Sherwood are in the backwood, playing a lot like guys in that 49ers defense does as far as being able to drop back in coverage. In regards to the game, just to close out, I do think the Jets dominated in most fronts, but to Logan's point, Aaron Rodgers was able to pick apart that defense when he needed to, simply because there were times of the game when guys like the Jets' best pass rushers were getting rotated out. We weren't able to get that same pressure on Rodgers, and he was able to pick us apart on the back end. And that is an area that the Jets have to address, along with the wide receiver 2 position. Definitely got to address that safety position, and I think guys like Malachi Moore, rookie out of Alabama, will be coming in very soon and possibly filling in that role. But it was a great game, man. Biases aside, I still do think that gets my vote for game of the week. Action-packed from start to finish.
Also, one more thing on this game. I saw an interview. Jalen Ramsey said this is the first time in his career that he's played every position in the secondary in a single game. Jalen Ramsey is very late in his career. So when I saw that interview, I thought that was a pretty cool little note there.
They dealt with a lot of in-game injuries in their back end of the safety, back end. Ramsey.
Oh, you're freezing up on us, Graham. Can you hear me?
Yeah, y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're good now. I'm sorry. You were saying a lot of injuries on the back end?
Oh.
Well, we're having some technical difficulties.
As soon as he was about to get technical.
I know. Graham, have you got anything like in the background maybe close that? So y'all get the real. Y'all get live in-game adjustments.
I don't have anything else open. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're good now.
No, I was really just kind of touching on my closing statements, but we can definitely jump into that next game. You guys want to move on to the Falcons?
I guess. I'll open. So, like I told y'all yesterday, I was pretty wild and drove from South Carolina at about 6 in the morning on about 2 hours sleep, 3 hours sleep, to go down to the Falcons game. Which it was super fun to be there. Great environment. I mean, it's something about, I think every place that first game of the year is really lively, but going into the season, Falcons fans really have something to be excited about. When it comes to the playoffs, talent, and you got 2 guys, Raheem, head coach, and probably Terry Fontenot, whose jobs are on the line this year. At the end of the day, terrible start off to the year. I mean, I know, because the third play of the game, Bajan Bijan Robinson scores. Let me get everything pulled up right here. Bijan Robinson scores on a 50-ish yard little angle route. Or actually, I think it was like more like a little flat route in the flat. Made everybody miss. He's so good with the ball in his hand. And that was really about all he did was make plays from the receiver position because the run game was horrible. We rushed the ball for not less than 69 yards. And we have probably the best, like we were talking about, a top 5, top 3 running back in the league. So that's really discouraging. I mean, our leading rusher was Tyler Algier, which I love Tyler Algier. He's great. But when you have Bijan Robinson, you can't get him going. That's frustrating. I love Penix. Penix looked great. I mean, he drove that that is receiver 1 and 2 with Drake London and Mooney out, which Drake London is supposed to be playing this weekend, so we should be good there. But driving down with your receiver 1 and 2 out after some, Baker gives a go ahead with about a minute, like right under a minute left. So watching him do that and not throw any picks that game, about as good as I could ask for him. It's just you could tell to me, like, I don't get too much into preseason, but those starters could have used some preseason snaps to get back into it. I think they looked rusty, a lot of senseless, hey, we're just getting the rust off of everything. Penalties happen. Just some laziness. I hate the pistol. Oh my God, I hate the pistol. I don't know what's going on with Zach Robinson, Falcons OC. Get rid of the pistol. I'm going to find some stats on what Falcons do in the pistol, and we're going to look at how poor it is because it's so bad. And then of course, the offense was basically anemic after that first drive, because we scored a touchdown in the first quarter, didn't score one until like under 3 minutes left in the game. So, and it took almost 6 attempts, which I think Drake London caught that ball. Whether or not I can prove it, obviously I don't know, but I think he caught that ball. I was impressed with how the inside linebackers played. I think Diablo and Ellis were fantastic. They were everywhere making plays. Of course, we had 1 sack, which is typical of the Falcons pass rush. Devon Diablo accounted for half of one of those. So, the rookies, Watts was incredible. Bowman looked good. Bowman was basically a hybrid line. Oh, I guess you could call him nickel, but he's everywhere. Those are both very instinctual football players that I'm going to love having on this back end. I wanted to see more from Walker and Pierce, obviously, but I think they're making a tough transition because I think when you come from being able to win your matchups against tackles and guards, offensive linemen with brute strength, I think it's a transition where you have to learn about the game when you get to that next level. So I'm not worried about them going forward, but I mean, obviously when you spend those two, you got those guys in the first round, you want to see production, but it just doesn't happen like that. One thing that sucked, I mean, Jesse Bates, who is, arguably the best safety in the league, almost is too much of a savvy veteran because on the last play of the game, they're playing cover 3. So I think it was Mike Hughes. He's playing outside leverage to push Ekbuka in, who had 2 touchdowns. And Jesse Bates bites on the Mike Evans dig route. So now he's got all the inside leverage right open in the middle of the field. And if he stays back and doesn't bite on that, where it's already covered, the mess is already covered. Maybe I don't know if it ends up not being an interception, definitely an incomplete pass, but probably an interception. So it was pretty discouraging to see the offense basically make no strides aside from Penix being great, but no explosiveness in the run game, which is something the Falcons were good at last year. Obviously, we got some stuff to work around with offensive line, but got the Vikings this weekend, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But yeah, it was a fun game, great game to be at. I really enjoyed it. Was there with my brother. He diehard Falcons fan, not Josh, my brother Tyler. Really got to have a good time with him, which is always worth it. But my God, I wanted to win and I was so tired of the Bucs fan. Oh God, they were doing all this hooping and hollering. We went to the overtime game last year, and after that, just nothing. And then after this, they're doing the Tampa Bay. I wanted to throw up. It pissed me off so bad.
Tampa travels pretty well up here, I would say, right?
Say what now?
Tampa travels relatively well up to Atlanta, you would say, right?
or probably lives here, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, Bucks are, like I said last episode, Bucks are the only team in the NFC to make the playoffs 5 years. I mean, since 2020. So like, they've got reason to travel. They know what they're playing for. And the Bucks, dude, Baker's a gamer. That dude,
Oh, yeah.
I had every reservation about him in the world. Was not a believer in him. Hated him after the Rose Bowl. And was doing ran up and down the sidelines at their hot rod, missed a kick, doing this over. Hated him ever since. But God, that dude can play. That
Baker
guy
made a
can
couple
freaking
throws in
play.
the second half to me that I said, wow, man, we're standing here in year 8, and I just watched Baker make 3 throws that justified his draft pick. It's just the team that he plays for didn't draft him, but he looks exactly like where he got drafted on some of these plays, man. He makes some excellent throws, especially in the heat of the late portions of a game. So I do feel for the Falcons because I honestly see the Bucks as right up there as one of y'all's fiercest competitors all around in the NFC, not just because they're in your division. And I also feel for the Falcons just because of the fact that there were a couple of plays there, late in the game that it seemed like, funny enough, Kyle Pitts was open, but Michael Penix didn't, make the right read just because I felt like sometimes the offense from the Falcons is still discombobulated, and, the running game not having production like you just hit on is, maybe a reflection of that, Joey. So it was a tough one for sure. I could see that as being a real tough pill to swallow for the Falcons, man.
And honestly, I wasn't super impressed to add on top of what you just said. I mean, God, we outgained them by 100 yards, had 7 more first downs, 3 or 4 on fourth down, time of possession led by 11 minutes. So, I mean, like, you look at that, you're like, how do we not win? And then, of course, the good brother, Younghoe Koo. I wanted him to be fired on an episode of The View. Whatever it is people are watching, I want him to be fired on there. He was horrible last year. I know he was hurt a little bit, but he was horrible. I'm gonna pull this. There was some stat where, let me see if I can find it real quick. But basically something about him. Let me find this real quick. Something where he was like ranked 29 out of 31. Was something with kicks. So sorry. Okay. This is from Mark Ramondi from ESPN Research. Among kickers with 20-plus field goal attempts since the start of 2024, Koo ranks 29th out of 31 in field goal percentage with 73%. So, I mean, this guy is arguably been the worst kicker in the league, for
Joey,
2 years.
just for a reference point, can you name the 2 kickers that were ranked below him?
They just tweeted about
okay,
Koo.
gotcha.
So I really don't know.
Gotcha.
But now a missed field goal doesn't cost you a game. But I mean, he was shaky on the PAT. He hit a PAT off the goalpost, like that was almost missed. He said he tried to make an adjustment, but the adjustment that needs to be made is you need to be unemployed. That's the adjustment that needs to be made. That's how I feel at this point. I know we just signed a new kicker. His name Romo. So they're having a tryout this week or like kind of a competition this week. But my thing too is Raheem. Why is he still here? Not Raheem. Why is Koo still here? Asking Raheem like that.
Sure.
You're in charge of personnel. You should have had him go. I tried to have his back because I was like, I feel like people scapegoat too much on the coach, and then I had some buddies tell me, like, hey, he knew this last year, and I'm like, dang, you're right. So he's just some decisions Raheem makes, man. I really like the guy. I think he's a football wizard. I think he knows a lot, especially on defense. But yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement there. So I just kind of babbled for about 10 minutes, I feel like. But Logan, what do you want to add on there?
I'll add on to the Koo. It's crazy because I remember, like, I just pulled up his stats because we were talking about, like, it's crazy because I remember there was one time where Koo had like the highest field goal percentage in the league for like 3 years in a row.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, he was an animal. So I like just pulled it up. So 2019 is the year he took over. I think that was the Matt Bryant year when things were falling apart, everything like that. he had 88.5% field goal percentage. Follow that up with 95%. Follow that up with 93%. And then back-to-back years, he went 32 of 37 for 86.5%. So it's like all the way up until before last year. I mean, he was pretty solid. And then last year, you missed 9 field goals, only 73%. This year, he's already sitting in the 60s, going 2 for 3 yesterday. So I think it's just kickers. There's only 32 in the league. So it's like it's insane that how quick it can just change for a kicker. How you can go from talking about being top 5 kicker in the league 3-4 straight years, and then all of a sudden one bad year, one bad start to a game, everybody's. And I mean, I get it. It's a cutthroat league. That's how it goes. But it's just insane how quick kickers can get going. I mean, look how loud it got for before allegations. Look how loud it was getting for Justin Tucker last year, who was the GOAT. I mean, obviously Vinatieri's a GOAT, but he's the best kicker we've seen since Vinatieri. And then last year he had a pretty rough year, and then it's like shit got loud quick.
See ya.
Yeah.
What's that?
I would say him and Jankowski.
Yeah,
I would say him, Jankowski, and Vinatieri are the three GOATs.
Oh yeah.
But to touch on other parts of the game, Bijan led the Falcons in receiving. That's a bright side for him. Granted, 1 catch for 50 yards that'll help the old totals. But one thing, Joey, this is your guy. It's the ex-girlfriend or whatever you said, the hot ex-girlfriend. I forget how you worded it.
Toxic ex-girlfriend. I keep going back.
Okay. Kyle Pitts with 7 catches though. I was happy to see that.
Pitts played well.
I'm in the same boat with you guys. I'm like, I feel like Penix did play well, but then going back and looking at the box score, he threw the ball 42 times and threw for 298 and 1 touchdown. That's a Dak Prescott box score if I've ever seen one. It's like throwing for 298 is nice, but then when you realize, well, he threw the ball 42 times. So it's like, like it just is very Dak Prescott-esque for me, where it's like the numbers look good, but then when you really step back and look at how many times he had opportunities to throw, it's like, yeah, I would hope you do a little something there.
Well, I think the big thing. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. Did you have the rest of the point? I was going to say a lot of it is like just seeing him confidently make so many throws that are not easy, some that are easy. He tries to fit a lot in tight windows, a lot of like little slant routes that were thrown in between defenders that receivers should have had. He does a lot of that. His ability to rip the ball is just so impressive to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I'm looking at it right now. Drake London had 15 targets and 8 catches. I mean, that's what I was talking about earlier. Drake really kind of let me down. I love Drake London. I am a huge Drake London guy. I don't think it's indicative of the season he's going to have. And like I said, he's going to be, sounds like he's going to be playing this weekend. We're going to need him against Minnesota, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the thing that we're going to talk about it when we get to the Dolphins too. Like week 1 is so funny because everything is an overreaction. And at the same time, you're not reacting enough to certain things. So, like, that's just part of week 1, getting back into it. So, yeah, it was brutal. But anything we want to add on that before we get into some of the primetime slate games?
No, I love the fact that you hit on, Michael Penix being able to make some of those crazy throws in tight windows. And I think, there's a factor in his game that goes into play, especially in those areas, and it's the fact that he's left-handed. I think a lot of these defenses are so used to reading, right-handed quarterbacks, and the way that Michael Penix, his mechanics, are definitely appropriate for his style. It's not me, trying to slander him, but I just think his mechanics are a little bit unorthodox in comparison to how most guys throw it in the league, and that definitely helps when it comes to some of those ball hawking safeties that are looking for every little detail as far as anticipating that throw. So Penix definitely shines in that area, just like he did in Washington, and it's good to see that pop out on tape early on in his career. I do wish that Raheem found ways to get Jalen Moore incorporated, even if he can't necessarily facilitate the edge or get to the quarterback. He showed in college that he can drop back in coverage and do some things there, and I just think sometimes rookies need that pick-me-up, especially high-graded, high-drafted rookies that are going to have early, PT and get early burn. Find some ways to, pick that confidence up a little bit. But maybe I'm nitpicking, but
I mean, the inside linebackers played really well though. And, as we watched all the Georgia games, I mean, he played a lot, inside linebacker, but they played so well. I think he's just going to have to learn. I mean, and it's part of the course. I'm not saying that, it's a detriment. But he's going to have to learn that you can't win against these all-pro tackles the same way you won against college tackles. And you just won't be able to. And that's part of it. That's an adjustment. He's
Do you
going to
feel
be
like that
fine.
stood out on tape to you when you watched him, though? Do you feel like he was trying to, use too much of that brute force?
Where the angle I had when I was watching it was kind of weird, but he had a lot where he would kind of do like, some chop moves and he would kind of really get pressure, but nothing to where you're like, oh yeah, he won that. Like to me at least. I mean, and I need to really grind some more tape on that, to be honest. But one thing I want to say about Penix, because it just reminded me of it, dude almost called a game when Kadero Hodge ran that little I don't know want to call it a fade, but kind of ran a go, and he absolutely cooked the corner that was on him. It was 1-on-1 on the outside, and it's like he just gave up on the route early. It should have been an easy kind of back shoulder catch. When I say easy, I mean kind of routine. Maybe not easy to do, but kind of routine. So, we could have called a game right there, but here we are, 0-1, heading into Minnesota, could be 0-2. So yeah, but let's get into what I think was the game of the week. Definitely the biggest game of the week, no doubt. Bills Ravens. There was about 3/4 of this game, which we're going to talk about with John Harbaugh because that's kind of his thing. Where I'm like, nobody's beating these guys. They looked unstoppable. Derrick Henry had 170 yards. Those long touchdowns he's known for. Lamar was, putting the ball where it's supposed to be. Looked great with his legs, but that fourth quarter came and defense fell apart. I'm trying to get it. Let me get it pulled up real quick. But Josh Allen, probably heard me saying, hey, Lamar should have been MVP, and then throws 270 yards and 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. They call him Superman. That was a Superman performance. He was fantastic. And where are we at? Oh, they pulled up the playoff game last year. LOL. That is not the one I'm looking for. There it is. Because I was like, he threw more than that in the fourth. So Lamar had 209. Went 14 of 19, 2 touchdowns. So really efficient game from him. Had a 94 QBR. So he looked great. Again, Derrick Henry was good. Zay Flowers all over the place, almost 150 yards. He's clearly that team's number one.
Which is crazy because I feel like Ravens fans and fans of other teams, not to cut you off, Joe, we've always tried to delegate that guy to the slot, but he commands so much of the ball and delivers so much in these big games. It's hard not to call him or identify him as that team's number one. So I commend you for that.
Yeah, he looks like they're number one for sure. But just it blows my mind because that defense is way too talented to give up.
But is the back end of that secondary as good as we give it credit? Is Marlon Humphreys as good as he was 3 years ago? Is this Zaire Alexander addition the answer? Because I'm telling you right now, there was a lot of moments in this last game where you had to ask yourself, did we improve with the acquisition of Zaire Alexander? Did we improve by not addressing what we're going to do as far as depth with Marlon Humphreys? I'll be the first one to say that Marlon Humphreys was, and I think in a lot of ways still can be, an excellent player. But in these last few games where they've played against quarterbacks who are going to test, the final third of that field and the back end of that defense, there's been some suspect, real suspect, moments with this secondary. So I do agree with you, Joey. It is still a very talented defense. You got guys like Starks on there, all pro guys like Hamilton on that defense, and of course the vets up front who are trying to get to the quarterback. But I do think there's some leaks in that secondary, bro.
I would say that's probably the biggest opportunity, but like you just said, I mean, you still got, you got Hamilton, who's arguably, along with Jesse Bates, the best safety in the league. Roquan Smith, the best interior linebacker in the league. They still got Van Noy. And Mike Green got some burn, but I'm not going to count him in that yet, in that discussion. But there's just too many names on that defense for them to be giving up 28 points in the second half. I can't get around that. Harbaugh has 17 blown double-digit leads in the second half, which is the most since since anybody since 1991. So this is kind of a thing. I don't understand why Logan. Why not go for it on that 4th and 2 at the end before Josh calls a game? I don't. The way the momentum was going in that game, there was no reason for them to punt that ball. And I feel like those are the kind of decisions Harbaugh has made a lot of. In hindsight, this is wrong. But if you're wrong in hindsight, a lot of times, I mean, clearly something's going on with the foresight. So that kind of blew my mind. But again, Allen, 270 yards in a 4th quarter and 2 touchdowns. Now, one kind of like one he got lucky on that when a Keon Coleman caught that a receiver kind of dropped that was sailed. But I mean, you do the right things enough. I think luck is just bound to come to you. So yeah, I was super, super impressed with Allen. That's what I came away from it with.
Yeah, I think every game Allen's in, it's easy to get impressed by that man. I think the craziest stat of this game, though, is the Ravens only had 14 completions and were pretty much double-digit lead or at least 2-score lead, I should say, for majority of this game. Like kind of like Joey saying, it looks like they're in control. But I mean, I think this game was. I kind of feel like it was a coming out party for Zay Flowers. Like obviously he's done his thing in previous games, but this seemed like the solidify. Like y'all are saying, like he's the number one guy in that offense as far as receiving goes, no doubt about it. After this game for sure, and it kind of like what Graham's saying is people want to put him in the box and call him a slot receiver. It almost reminds me of like a Terry McLaurin. Like it's like the guy maybe doesn't get the credit he truly deserves as wide receiver 1, and I kind of feel like McLaurin's that same way over in Washington where. A lot of times you get overlooked, maybe because he's a little undersized or something, but it's like the man makes big plays after big plays. So it was crazy to see this man's going for 143 against the Bills like that. And they only had 209 yards in the air, and he's responsible for 143. Kind of seems like the Bills would be able to hone in on that, and they clearly weren't. So that is a little crazy from my perspective. But, yeah, once again, it's to me, anytime the Ravens – the Bills, the Chiefs, or Bengals. Anytime any of those 2-4 teams play each other, grab your popcorn. It's going to be a show.
Yeah.
It's going to be a show. Like those 4 teams, it don't matter which one of those 4 play each other. It's a show every time, and it's so fun to watch. These are the games that like make you a football fan. Like if this doesn't get you going, you're watching the wrong sport. You know what I mean? Like I'm out at Taco Mac watching this game, and I think it was like 30-26 or no. I forget what the score was. Let me see if I can pull it up right quick. The scoring, they were down by like 16 or 15 or whatever it was, though. And I'm just like, all right, I'm in. It was 40-25. They're down by 15. I'm like, all right, I'm hitting the house, right? And then I get an ESPN alert. I'm about to pull in to the house, right? Get an ESPN alert, like Josh Allen has the ball back, Henry fumble. And I'm like, what? And I pull it up on my phone, and I'm watching Josh Allen march down the field and go win a football game. And I'm like, damn, like that's what I get for thinking this game's over. It's as long as Josh Allen's hiking or receiving that snap, that the games are never over. And that's the craziest part is like kind of brings me back to, was it Bills and Chiefs, that playoff game where the Chiefs miraculously go down and kick a field goal with like 17 seconds left or whatever it is, go to overtime. It's like that same kind of just like you can never turn your head away no matter what the score is in these games. And it's just blows my mind that the primetime game performs like that on opening week. Like, what more could you ask for as a football fan, you know?
All of them, too. I mean,
this isn't the only one. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, and what amazes me about the Ravens is there's something about in those games, there's always some super untimely turnover that happens and flips the game on its head. I mean, I'm not going to say
we would be remiss to not bring up the mistakes, man.
Yeah,
all these mistakes, man.
I mean, Derrick Henry has 170 yards and 2 touchdowns, so I can't say, oh, it's his fault they lost, because that's just not true. But they have a knack for it. It's incredible.
Zay Flowers fumbled in the playoffs against the Chiefs. Mark Andrews had his drops. Now we had Derrick Henry with the fumble. It is starting to almost seem like biblical at this point.
Lamar also had 2 turnovers in that game.
Yeah, yep. So it's getting crazy at this point, man. But I do kind of have like an abbreviated appearance with the show tonight. So I got a message for the fans, and it's to close out this episode with something important in life, and it's humility. I'm a Jets fan, and it pains me to say this, But Josh Allen is getting to the point to where this dude is seeming like a football maestro, bro. When he's got the ball in the fourth quarter, this dude slows the game down, bro. It seems like the clock literally slows down. I'm a Lamar fan, and it does seem like Lamar is always like video game cheat code, like in his way to, just destroying defenses. But Josh Allen has this way of slowing the game down that's almost reminiscent of TB and Ben Roethlisberger, bro. Like just when those guys got the ball back, when you're playing against them in them tight moments, you're hating it twice as much as anybody else. It doesn't matter who the coordinator is. It doesn't matter who the supporting cast is. He doesn't have the same, echelon of receivers as he had just a few years ago. But you're almost more scared to go against Josh Allen because this dude, man, he's got a way of just taking over and almost controlling the game by a string. So credit to the Bills, obvious front runners of my team's division. And to be honest with you, they looking like front runners for this Super Bowl, if we're being honest. I don't know who would slate against them right now, especially with home field advantage if they go on to get it. So with that being said, I'm going to leave the fans and share in safe hands with my boys. I hope y'all have a beautiful rest of the episode, and I'm going to talk with y'all next week.
Sounds good, brother. We'll holler at you.
All right, fellas.
See ya.
I also think one more about this game. We don't have to spend too much longer on it, but I think he was bringing up the Mark Andrews drops. Mark Andrews has 1 catch for 5 yards in this game. It blows my mind. And I know I mentioned on the first episode too, like D-Hop could be a good pickup for, down in the red zone. And sure enough, I think it was a short little pass play, but he finds the end zone. D-Hop does.
So he had that one-hand snag.
Yeah. He had 2 catches and it was those 2. So, I think maybe D-Hop gets a little more comfortable in that offense, could help them. But Mark Andrews, I know Isaiah Likely was out, but Mark Andrews is really a big surprise how it's just a couple years ago. It seems like we're putting him up there when Kelsey's going crazy. We got him up there with Kelsey and Kittle and, tight ends.
He was great last year. I feel like he caught a touchdown every game.
He had 11 touchdowns last year. So, he was balling, but it's like 1 catch for 5 yards from Mark Andrews in a game like this just kind of seems crazy to me. But at the end of the day, obviously the Ravens are pounding the rock. Their run game was going, whether it was Lamar or King Henry, they were doing their thing with the ball. So yeah, I get it at the same time, but it still kind of blows me away to see Mark Andrews in the box score and he's only got 1 catch for 5 yards.
If they want to, because I think it's almost a foregone conclusion that they win the North. If they want to be a Super Bowl contender, he can't do that. They can't. I'm gonna do the ESPN thing. He's got to step up.
Yeah. No.
Hey, what's going on there? He's got to step up.
Yeah.
All right, how is he gonna do? He just got to step up. Yeah. That's their analysis when something's going down. Somebody's got to step up. Speaking of step up, so we kicked off the game with the season with a Thanksgiving game with the Cowboys and Eagles. Indeed. That got off to a start where Jalen Carter is kicked out 6 seconds into the game.
Yeah.
Which I know that there's some angles where it's like it looks like Dak Prescott kind of spits on him first. I think that's kind of manipulating the angle. I don't really think that's what he was trying to do, but dude walked up and spit to him right on the 4. Obviously not a good look. They've all made their sorrows, or they've all said what they had to say, but that affected them. Jalen Carter, is one of the best, if not the best, interior lineman in the game. On the defensive side of the ball, and not having him, that opens up a whole new world for the Cowboys. Which Dak, I thought, played well. CD was incredible to start the game off, and then it's like somebody sawed his hands off, which I don't think is going to be anything a trend going forward with him. But that was really discouraging to see. I think if Micah Parsons is on that Cowboys team, I think they win. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think they win that game.
Yeah, and Parsons comes up with a big play to kind of help seal it for the Packers is the funny thing.
How many times, just before you go, how many times are you going to play the Eagles and A.J. Brown not have a catch for 3 quarters?
Kind of going back to Drake London, it crossed my mind and then it slipped my mind, but you're just bringing it back up. How many times will we see a week like this where wide receiver ones just are nowhere to be found?
Yeah.
Jamar Chase doesn't have a great week. Drake London doesn't have a great week. A.J. Brown, Amon St. Brown. Like, there was a handful of wide receiver ones that just kind of were non-existent this week, which is honestly insane to see. I mean, you got A.J. Brown with 1 catch, 8 yards, and you got Devontae Smith with 3 catches for 16. That's her top 2 guys, obviously. And it's kind of crazy to see that take place, you know?
Yeah, there's like you said, a lot of weird things. I mean, Saquon Barkley is in the third quarter with 60 yards and ends the game with 60 yards.
Yeah.
Like, there's some weird things that just don't happen, seems like. But I mean, that's part of week 1, though. I mean, it's all a filling out process, of course. So I don't think it's the funny thing about the season or the first game is we don't know if it's indicative of what's going to come or not. Like, we're just reacting off what we see. I think the Eagles are still going to win it all, but I mean, that was a great way to open the game up, open the season up. And then next night, you've got the Chargers and the Chiefs, and Justin Herbert.
Oh, yeah.
He said, "I'm here."
Justin Herbert looked for real.
Dude, they let him air it out. Quentin Johnson actually play well. I mean, it's going to be a scary one.
It's crazy because it's like, you know how Jesse Chavez is only good in a Braves uniform? Is Keenan Allen only good in a Chargers uniform? Is that what we learned?
Say it one more time. Is who?
Keenan Allen. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he didn't have a terrible year last year, but for Keenan Allen standards, he definitely took a step back in Chicago last year. But it's like, you got Keenan Allen out here just like, I don't know. Like, he looked great to me. I mean, he only had 68 yards, but he's got 7 catches and a touchdown, and it just kind of felt like he was coming up with big catch after big catch. But with that being said, you also got Quentin Johnson, who looked great as well. You got McConkey out there with 74. I mean, you got 3 guys hanging out around the 70-yard mark. I mean, let's see, Allen's got 68, McConkey had 74, and then you got Quentin Johnson with 79, which is very impressive for Herbert to go out there, throw 318, and have 3 different guys around the 70-yard mark. I mean, you're talking about 210, 220 yards between 3 guys of his 318, which is good. Like, that's a compliment, because we're just talking about earlier, Zay Flowers got 143 of Lamar's 200 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of games you kind of see where it's like Dak, he only threw for like 200 and CD had like 110 of it. So it's like you kind of see one receiver, and we were talking about Steelers got somebody stepping up, Calvin Austin stepping up in wide receiver 2. Talking about the Jets need someone to step up for wide receiver 2. Meanwhile, you got 4 guys over 50 yards over there with the Chargers against the Chiefs, who are obviously the pedestal right now. That's kind of the marker, you know?
And it's the Chiefs, bring into that. It's weird because they have this weird thing when I was watching the game where it's like, do these guys suck? But at the same time, I was like, do these guys know how to lose? Like,
Yeah.
it felt like the whole time, and maybe it's just the mystique of the Chiefs. Like, it felt like they were going to do their thing, but that offense, it just, God, just I don't know if I don't want to credit it to being gone, because I think they were good without him there. But of course, Worthy got hurt early on that crashing on a mesh route with Kelsey, who Kelsey played well, had a touchdown. Hollywood Brown played well. I was kind of out on him all the way, but he really, really had a good game, just a yard short of 100 yards. So he played well, but I mean, to me, they look like they're gonna win games because of their veteran presence and they know how to. But to me, Pat Mahomes, I've been saying this for years. This may sound crazy. I know he's winning all these games and whatnot, but if you took out the Super Bowls and you just watched the quarterbacks in the league play regular season games, he might be like 5 or 6 in that list. Now, of course, the postseason is kind of what gives him that edge. But that Pat Mahomes that we saw for when they were young and getting into that Super Bowl stage, that's not the same Pat Mahomes I've watched and I've been watching.
I kind of think
crazy.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but I think a lot of that has to do with they just don't have the weapons they once had. But also, kind of like I was talking about in the past episode, this Chiefs team kind of reminds me of the LeBron James Cavaliers. Like regular season, it just kind of seems like they're going through the motions. But with that being said, usually it seems like the Chiefs find a way to pull it off. In this game, they obviously didn't. But I don't see the Chiefs being I see the Chiefs being successful because they're the Chiefs until I'm proven wrong. To be the man, you got to beat the man. Ric Flair mentality, you know? But I think the crazy thing about the Chiefs is you got Patrick Mahomes as your leading rusher by 32 yards. He's got 57 yards, and you got Pacheco with 25 and Kareem Hunt with 16.
Yeah, nothing.
But also, why are you only running the ball 10 times between Kareem Hunt and Pacheco, which is what's crazy to me as well. So it's like I don't know. I don't think Mahomes played bad to go off what you're saying. I mean, he's got 258, 57 tuds. It maybe isn't as
Rushing yards, you mean?
What's that?
You said 57 tuds.
Oh, 57. Yeah, not tuds. They wish. But yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy that he led them in rushing for me.
Yeah. And he can move around, but he's not a rushing quarterback by any means.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
A lot of them, and it was all like, nobody's open. I'm breaking out of the pocket, scampering out of bounds. Here, I want to show you this. And anybody watching on YouTube, by the way, like always, thank you guys if you're still tuned in. I'm going to add this right here. Can you see their schedule?
Hold on, let me blow this up. I keep forgetting I can blow this up. Yeah, I'm looking.
Okay. This is kind of crazy to me because next week they have Philly. Very easily could be 0-2. New York, they'll probably win that. But then you got Baltimore. 2 weeks later, you got Detroit. You got Washington. Then you got Buffalo. And then bye week, come back to Denver. That's a stretch,
and then you got the Colts.
Yeah.
Then you got the Colts.
I don't know that yet. But that is kind of brutal.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, these guys could – I'm serious. We could be looking at the Chiefs by week 9. I mean, having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 losses. And I know they're the Chiefs. They'll probably figure it out. But I kind of want to overreact.
They'll probably walk away with 2 or 3.
Say what?
I said they'll only walk away with 2 or 3.
Yeah, ultimately. But, looking at that schedule, and they don't look incredible to me. It's just – I don't know. Speaking of, you got anything else to add to that game before we get to?
No, I do not.
Okay, well,
Justin Herbert looked fantastic. That's what I'll add to that game.
MVP dark horse ?
Hey, and they look like they got a lot of weapons.
Yeah,
that I really think they got a good bit of weapons over there, which was the crazy part for me. I'm like, I didn't realize how much talent they really had on offense. To be honest,
Quentin Johnston really being a factor on offense is a big deal.
Yep.
That's really a big deal.
I'm watching that game waiting on my boy Trey Harris to come in, and he got like 1 catch. But I can't even be mad at it because you got dudes balling out. Like I said, you got 4 guys with 50-plus receiving yards.
Yeah. So maybe they may have to bite my tongue on that Broncos pick, but we'll see. How about the Monday night game, Bears-Vikings? J.J. McCarthy playing his first NFL game. Definitely looks a little slow coming out of the gate, but in the fourth quarter figures it out. Throws 2 tuds, to take the lead. Baker Mayfield is kind of my example of this, but I think as fans, we give up on rookie quarterbacks way too fast. Oh, yeah. We really do. You saw all the people, J.J. McCarthy doesn't know. Oh, when you don't know the other team's plays, it's not easy to be good. Like, especially like from the Big Ten community. But when he figured it out, it got a lot quieter. But he looked like he was just seeing things well. He looked confident. He threw that really bad pick that was returned. And he was that death march. I was really impressed by his poise. Look, he had done this before. And like Trip sent us this thing, still making his appearance on the show even without being here. He sent us something that had them. I think it was JJ McCarthy is 61-3.
Yeah, I'm about to pull it up for you real quick.
Like he hasn't lost a game as a starter in whenever Michigan won. It's like 3 years.
The thing Tripp sent is JJ McCarthy's resume. 8th grade, he's offered a full scholarship from Iowa State, Power 5 school. Insane. 9th grade, red shirts, 10th grade or doesn't play, whatever. 9th grade doesn't play. 10th grade was 13-1, won the state championship with a broken thumb on his throwing hand. 11th grade, 13-1, lost the state championship. 12th grade, 8-0, won the national championship. Freshman year didn't start at all. Sophomore year goes 12-1 as a starter. His junior year, he's 15-0, wins the national championship, and then he's 61-3 as a starter at quarterback.
So what? That's the 2023 season. So he hasn't lost a game since they lost to Georgia. No, because they wouldn't have. No, because they lost to TCU that next year. So they hadn't lost a game since they lost to TCU.
Yeah.
Or
McCarthy.
he hasn't. That is.
Yeah.
Jason McCarthy hasn't. Now, obviously, he missed last year, but
yeah.
That dude, I mean, of course, we were kind of limited because Michigan ran the ball so much as far as being able to see what he was able to really do as a quarterback when his back was against the wall. Because he won games and they wouldn't even throw 10 passes when he was at Michigan. But I mean, he's got Justin Jefferson, got Kevin McConnell, leading the way. Jordan Addison's going to be coming back, and he's still got Hawkinson. So he's got the weapons to be good. And I mean, after this game, of course, it's just one game against the Bears.
You
take
are
that as you will.
one weapon there, buddy.
Say what?
You are missing one weapon there.
Jefferson?
Aaron Jones.
Oh yeah. I thought I said Jefferson. Okay. Yeah, I was more so talking about just in the passing game, which I mean, to be fair, he did throw Jones a touchdown. So
Aaron Jones. He tied Justin Jefferson with the most receiving yards at 44. Not a lot, but
he got going late. He was kind of handcuffed in that first half, but he ended up scoring too. Aaron Jones on the no bet list. You're banned, buddy. I'm just going to get that out of the way. But no, I came away really impressed with them. And it seemed like the team's bought into him. And I think as a rookie quarterback, your locker room having your back, it's such a big deal. It seems like they've really got that. So I think the Packers or the Vikings are going to make the playoffs. I don't know about if they'll be better in Green Bay. Which of course I want to hold that game for Trip. Talk about the Lions' disappointment, because that wasn't good. So that's kind of my opening monologue for them, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, my take on this game is Kevin O'Connell could literally make a broomstick look good at quarterback. Like when you got Justin Jefferson on your side to throw the ball to, and you got Kevin O'Connell coaching you, I just believe in everything that man does with a quarterback and an offense, to be honest. Like I can't say his praises enough for what I see him do with quarterbacks like Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy. Not saying those guys are terrible. They can fling it. They have crazy highlights if you're just looking at highlights. Like I saw a highlight the other day of Sam Darnold, and they had that man looking like the second coming of Auburn Cam Newton. It was insane. Like the highlights he has are pretty impressive. But I think a lot of that credit goes to Kevin O'Connell and just how he's able to manage his quarterbacks and put them in positions to win. It just every time it blows me away. With that being said, it's a tough first loss for Ben Johnson at the Bears. You kind of got let's see, what were they? They were up, was it 13, 17, something like that?
God, that offense looked dreadful, dude.
They were up 11, 17-6. They were up at one time in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Being up in the fourth quarter, 17-6, they missed that field goal, and then all hell breaks loose for the Bears.
And a rookie quarterback, death march. It was so impressive to watch, man.
Yeah, and it's just I hate it. I hate to be this way, but I'm just a Caleb Williams hater. I don't believe in that man for a second. And I think if he doesn't win under Ben Johnson, then that's going to say a lot. You know what I mean?
He looked awful.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really believe in him. He's got DJ Moore. He's got at the end there, Komet makes that crazy good one-handed catch. I think that was his only catch for the game, but he made one. The old former Falcons, Zacchaeus looked good. Adunze had a couple good catches, but I don't know. Something about Caleb Williams. It's hard for me to get behind him.
It's like watching him. It's because he's unbelievably talented, but it's almost like it's to a detriment because he can make so many really good throws, but I feel like he knows how talented he is and kind of over relies on it almost, if that makes sense. Because I mean, you'll see him on the run make a throw that only he's the only person in the world that can make that throw. You're like, what in the world is happening? Then you watch him throw a swing route and he throws it like a submarine pitcher, and it's like in the dirt. I mean, I think you can make plays, you can win games making the big throws, the crazy throws. You're not going to be able to consistently win if you are not able to make the routine plays consistently. You're simply not going to. And he has shown a real struggle to do that. Again, only a second year. Quarterbacks take time.
Yep.
But some quarterbacks that take time, they start off in horrible situations. There's a lot for them to get into. He doesn't have that problem. He's got as good of a setup almost as you could ask for with the weapons he's got around him. So, I mean, to me, if by into year 3, we're going to be having we're going to officially determine, maybe you already are out, but of whether Caleb Williams is going to be a good NFL quarterback. At this rate, it's almost unwatchable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% out. There's the talent is there. There's no question about that. But I got to see it. It's kind of like it's crazy because it's only year 2 for him. But I'm almost throwing him in the same boat as like a Trevor Lawrence and Kyle Pitts. It's like way too much talent not to do something with it. That's kind of how I feel about him, to be honest.
Agreed. But there'll be JJ will be having to take on the Vaulted Falcons this weekend, the Vikings primetime.
Yep.
So I guess we'll see what both teams are about on that one. Shout out to the good brother Jonathan Grenard on the edge rusher. Yeah, but I got to root against you. Sorry, brother. But before we get to the predictions, talk about overreaction on week 1. There are 2 teams.
There's what can we? I don't know. This might be one you're going to touch on. Can we touch on one of them at least for a quick 5 minutes?
Let's see if it's the same one. Go ahead.
Colts and Dolphins. I'm overreacting on both.
Okay. All right. Let me hear it.
As a Giants fan, wonderful or not Giants fan. Like I'm saying, like not me, but I'm saying like as a Giant. If I were a Giants fan, I'm saying like I cannot imagine what they're going through right now. Saquon balls out, wins the Super Bowl. You give up on Daniel Jones. He goes and battles for a starting job. Granted, it might be the worst. It's not the best quarterback room. He goes and battles for a starting job, wins it, and goes out there and just absolutely does his thing. Throws for 272. He also ran for, I think it was like 30 yards or something like that. It's loading. I'm trying to pull it up. But Daniel Jones looked damn good. He looked poised. They were putting him in the same category as like first quarterback to do this since Peyton Manning. I don't remember exactly what the stat is. But
I saw something real quick that said the Colts were the first team to score on every drive in an NFL game in like 50 years or something crazy.
Yeah. Something like, but it's, I don't know, like quick note for me on this one. Jonathan Taylor looks back. He looks healthy. Their offensive line looks back. It looks like they know how to play football again for a year. It kind of like they forgot. I don't know what happened exactly. Maybe 2 years. It seemed like they were really good at one time for JT. They got Matt Ryan, fell apart, wasn't great last year. But then Michael Pittman looked good. Tyler Warren, excuse me. Tyler Warren looks like he's about to have a rookie season like Brock Bowers did last year.
Yeah, he was a good
animal. I mean, I didn't watch a ton of this game, but I'm at the sports bar drinking a beer, watching it on the side. Just every time I look up, the Colts are making a play, and the Dolphins.
The setup of all setups.
Oh yeah. So I just want to touch on Tyler Warren looked like a dog. JT looked like he's back. Daniel Jones has always had these random games where he, shows some glimpses of greatness, but it's insane to see it. And on the opposite side of that spectrum, it's like McDaniels might be fired by week 6. The Dolphins look horrendous. Who wants to trade for Tyreek Hill? Do they stop at trading Tyreek Hill? Because it seems like all signs are pointing that Tyreek Hill is going to be out of here by the end of the year.
I mean,
and a lot of people are saying Chiefs, which I don't know if I'm going for that. But at this rate, they got to figure it out, or McDaniels is gone, and they're going to be trying to offload some people. And I think Tyreek Hill is probably where it starts. When you got Zach Wilson coming into a game, it's not a good look for the team, So as much as I'm overreacting about Colts like they were in full control, I'm also going to overreact and be like, what is going on in Miami?
Tua was horrendous.
Horrendous.
As bad of a quarterback can look, honestly. I mean, he had a 3. I'm rounding up. He had a 3 quarterback rating, or QBR. So, God, that's so bad. And the biggest thing with Tyreek Hill, he's your best player. He said, I'm out, does all that corny Twitter stuff. Why do you even bring him back? Like, I mean, of course, he's got a lot of personal things that kind of make him a red flag for other people, with the stuff outside of football. But I mean, this is a guy. Why bring him back? Because he's not coming back to the season. You're gonna, like you said, you're gonna have to trade it. He's at the deadline. I think he's gone. And if he goes somewhere, it's gonna be somewhere likely that's gonna either A, we need a Super Bowl piece. B, I want to be here if I'm Tyreek Hill. Which he said that he's going to retire after this contract. So I don't know, but it's why do you the sports bringing back somebody who makes it clear they don't want to be there is never going to go good, especially when it's your best player. It's just there's nothing you can do good. Like we said, Mike McDaniels and the other team that we're going to talk about, the Giants, him and Brian Daboll, they will not have jobs this year. I think Daboll is a really good coach. He had a big role in Josh Allen's company or career, but Mike McDaniels, once you get past all the cute stuff, the big glasses, the watch, the off-white sneakers, all that. This is a team who a year ago, last season dropped 72 on the Dolphins or on the Broncos.
Was that last year or the year before?
Year before. It was the year before.
Okay.
So 2 years ago, I mean, this is a team who had pieces to do something,
and I mean,
it looks so bleak.
They had hype.
Yeah.
Brian Flores came out and said them boys don't want to win, and Miami turned it up for a season or two. Like, nah, we're gonna go get Jalen Ramsey, Tyreek Hill. Like they really made a push to be good, and it seemed like they were for a year and a half, and then shit just kind of hit the fan. But yeah, going from putting up 70 to blundering against the Colts is honestly an insane turnaround. But to go off your Tyreek Hill take, does he last till the deadline? And if this is your last contract, if he's truly wanting to retire, why don't you go play for a contender? And what contender goes after him? Quick note on the Eagles as well. I know we just got off of them. They go and get Tank Bigsby.
Yeah.
I think that's a great pickup for them.
Howie doesn't stop, man. Howie Roseman does not stop.
I mean, the Eagles got better. We talk about the Eagles as much as we didn't even talk about that. Eagles go get Tank Bigsby, and on top of that all that does is give Saquon more fresh legs. That's scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just to go off, we were talking trades that brought that to my head, but I'm not going to harp on that too bad. But I do think that's a good move by Philadelphia, which when does their front office make a bad one at this point? They've the last 5 years, it seems like they've been on their game as far as making moves in that front office.
Yeah,
so.
And that's why they've won Super Bowls and have been in other Super Bowls. That's right. They're going to keep doing it.
And the one Super Bowl they lost was a great game.
Yeah,
great game.
So, another team, the jersey I'm wearing, the Giants. The Giants are the only team since somebody in the 40s to not score a week 1 touchdown 3 seasons in a row.
Oh, man. 3
seasons in a row. Neighbors was not there. Russell Wilson was egregiously bad.
Yeah, he was.
And it's going to suck because I'm worried about your boy Jackson Dart falling into that NFL QB trap of, hey, we have no choice but to play you, but we have no offensive line to protect you. So we're going to stunt your growth, which has been a trend for the Giants for, God, feels like forever.
Yeah.
So I think Daboll is going to be gone this year, but I think Daboll I think he does know how to coach. I just don't know. It seems like the locker room, like at least, how you see people acting on the sideline, like he just can't get any, continuity there between the guys or any camaraderie, if you will. So that's been pretty brutal, and I don't see him lasting. The Giants, like I told y'all, in the past since 2015, only have one more win than the Jets, who everybody acts like is the worst team ever. So I guess that makes them the second worst. But yeah, it looks bleak for them too. And there's way too much talent. That defense has way too many guys on it for that to be a thing. This poor guy Logan has had a cough for a month.
Dude, it's bad. I'm just glad I know how to mute my mic now. So to go off this game, I don't got too much to really say. Jaden Daniels, sophomore slump, says who? I know we kind of touched on it. I don't remember who it was. I know it was brought up on week 1. I'm not harping on whoever said it. I'm just saying this game, this man showed out, did his thing, looked just like he did last year, looked great. I think something to take away here is Deebo Samuel looked good. Deebo Samuel looked like he's a solid pickup for them. I know it's just one game, but he was pretty involved in that offense, which was good to see. I mean, he had 1 rush for 19 yards and a touchdown, had 7 catches, 77 yards. Kind of looked like primetime Debo, you know, and that's if you can get that kind of Debo with Terry McLaurin getting back into the rhythm of things, you got Noah Brown, Zach Ertz, who caught a touchdown. That offense can be a problem. And they got some pieces on defense, veterans on defense, where they could be a problem as well. I mean, we all know Dan Quinn can get a good defense going. So
Yeah.
I think I was kind of worried about the sophomore slump for Jaden Daniels. Seems like it happens to a lot of quarterbacks. Seems like it was a flash in the pan how they, made it as deep as they did, beat the Lions, upset them. No one really seen that coming. But after week 1, I know it's the Giants, but it's like, all right, I see you boys over in Washington. And then to go over to the Giants, I think Tyrone Tracy didn't have a great game. Part of that's O-line. I understand that. But, I mean, he had 10 carries, 24 yards. He had a pretty good year last year. Didn't look great. Scatterboo had 2 carries, negative yards. I know
Big scat, baby.
Hey, everybody's excited about Scatterboo. I think something that jumps off the page is Darius Slayton doesn't have a single catch. He's usually pretty decent part of their offense. Malik Neighbors, obviously there's the videos going around of him clearly frustrated with the offense. That's not the best look. You don't want to see that. And I have seen a report, don't know how true this is. I didn't dig too deep. Did run across a report saying that apparently Dayball was in the office wanting Dart to start week 2, which would be a crazy thing in my opinion. I'm thinking when Dart gets time, it's week 10, you know what I mean? Like maybe Wilson's banged up or whatever the case may be. But if that rumor's true and they're already at the doorstep saying we want Dart, I mean, I'm here for it. I'm here to see an Ole Miss quarterback get a start. But at the same time, it's like kind of like you're saying, you don't want to fall into that trap of just getting blundered back there. You don't want to see that happen either. And a lot of quarterbacks that you see kind of sit for a year, Patty Mahomes, people of that, you see them kind of sit behind somebody. Jordan Love did it. Aaron Rodgers did it. You sit behind somebody, then you come out and play. That could be a reason why Penix looks so good.
Yeah.
Half a season he sits behind somebody.
There's way too many adjustments to learn and playing quarterback in the NFL. I mean, that's like I'm going to use Madden, for instance, but it's like going from learning how to throw a football to all Madden. Like it's and that sounds like that didn't even make sense, but I think you guys get what I mean. Like that transition is not smooth. Some people take it smoother than most, but as a whole, that is a pretty brutal transition. And I like Dart. I think Dart's that dude's a baller too, but that is not a good situation for him. At least you got some guys to throw to at least, but I mean, why put a rookie back there to just go get killed? So
I think if you bring Dart in this early, it looks real desperate, but we all know Dayball's coaching for his job at this point.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe I'm a homer. I'm not trying to be, but maybe I'm a homer. There's just an aura around Dart, and it was all preseason. There's just an aura around that man that is really just like,
because he's handsome.
Well, and he can fling that thing, dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe bringing in a guy like that, you get Malik Neighbors a little bit more happy. You know, like you got your young quarterback, young receiver that could be your go-to combination for years to come. And then, I mean, Russell Wilson, what happens to him? I was a firm believer that the first time a quarterback drops this year with injury, I was a firm believer the first quarterback that was going to get traded was Winston. Maybe Wilson gets cut. I don't know how that plays out.
Might be time for him to hang it up.
But I mean, I don't think he played terrible for the Steelers last year. Like, I'm looking at the box score. I had no idea Russell Wilson ran for 44 yards in that game. Like, I didn't even notice that. And I was trying to watch in that game because there were rumors that they had a package for Dart. So every chance I'm getting, I'm looking at that TV to see if my boy Dart's.
Well, he was waiting, huh?
Hey, if there's rumors they might break out the red jerseys this year, if the Giants bring back the red alternates, that number 6 Dart might be on my chest real soon. I'm just saying, I might cave, bro.
That checks out.
But I mean, it's Giants and Commanders. I don't want to harp on it too bad, but I mean, Giants. They got
Giants and Dolphins though. Giants and Dolphins are very much the overreactions are very justified at this point.
Yeah, and on the other side of that, like I said, there's always a worry about a sophomore slump, kind of like Stroud had and stuff like that. But I mean, Washington looked great week 1. They took care of business. They did their thing.
So, well, we're going to wrap this thing up with some predictions for this week. I got some games pulled up. I'm going to add this back real quick. So we open up Thursday with the Commanders and Packers. I think the Packers look really good against the Lions.
Look great. We didn't even touch on that game.
Yeah, I know.
We'll leave it for Trip.
Yeah, so we'll give them a few weeks to debrief.
Yeah, we'll let them breathe.
But my God, they look good.
Yes,
they look so good. Jordan Love looks like he's really taking that next. Like he's been good for years, but he looks like he's really taking that next step. So
Jaden Reed looked good.
Sir,
Jaden Reed looked good.
Yeah,
he might be wide receiver 1 over there. I kind of feel like the Packers, since Devontae Adams left, has been a wide receiver by committee kind of thing. Not really a solid number 1 guy, but they got 7 guys that can go out there and catch the football and do it well. But yeah, it looks like Jaden Reed might be trying to take that step into being wide receiver 1 is what I'm thinking after week 1.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm taking the Packers.
Yeah, go Pack, go on this one for sure. Like I said, Reed looked good. Jordan Love looked good. Another week with Parsons practicing and getting healthy. That's exciting just because he's the big splash right before the season hit, obviously. Yeah. And honestly, another guy I want to mention for the Packers, I think Tucker Kraft looks good. Josh Jacobs look good. And both those guys are solid as well, I think. I think the Packers could definitely be a problem.
Yeah, again, I think they're going to win the North, but we'll see about that one. This one was more for Graham. The next one, the Jets and the Bills, because I really think the Bills are going to win. But I think the Jets showed last week that they're not afraid, or that they're going to compete with anybody they play, and they've got what they think are the pieces to do so. I think I'm giving the Bills, but I think it's going to be closer than people think.
I think it'll be interesting to see how the Jets play in this one. I think Bills are a much better team than the Steelers for sure. But I feel like you're saying, I think Aaron Glenn is going to bring the dogfight into New York that the Jets fans are going to want to see. Because, I mean, we all know it's one thing to like a bad football team, but it's another thing to like an uncompetitive bad football team.
Yeah, right.
Like, you can be a young team like the Jets and have the building blocks and be competitive and still kind of build some hype on that fan base going into the following year, especially if you had some pieces in the off season. So, yeah, I definitely got the Bills on this one. I don't know if I'll ever go against the Bills this whole season, but
yeah,
you know what I mean after that. But yeah, the Bills for me are for sure the lock.
Next one. This one was for Trip. Lions Bears. I got the Bears pulling the upset this week. I know they looked rough last week. Ben Johnson, a little homecoming action. I think the Bears are gonna say, hey, that I think again, I know we said all that bad stuff about Caleb Williams. But I think they're going to find a way to get it done this week. I think the Lions, they almost look like they're without the same guy calling the plays and Ben Johnson. They're looking to find that identity. And the Bears defense is a tough team to try and find that identity against. So I'm going to go with with the Bears.
Yeah, I'm gonna not be on your side on this one. It would be insane to see the Lions go from 15-2 last year to 0-2 this year. That'd be wild to see.
Yeah.
I believe in Dan Campbell. I was giving his praise. I told Tripp the first time I've ever said it, this was off camera, me and Tripp were talking. He thought I was just bullshitting with him because I was hyping up the Lions, but I'm like, no, dude, I like genuinely would love to see the Lions win a Super Bowl. Like, I was rooting for them last year so hard. Like, I just love Dan Campbell. I love the idea of a man who goes through the 0-16 season with them. Years down the road, becomes their head coach. He talks about biting kneecaps up or biting kneecaps off on the way up when he gets knocked down and stuff like that. People are thinking it's kind of corny, but then you fast forward, the Lions are 15-2 last year, and that's the exact mentality they had. I mean, look how depleted they were on defense last year, and they still did what they did. So I think Lions bounce back here, and maybe this is a Dan Campbell, like, blow your chest out moment. Like, yeah, Ben Johnson, I can do it without you.
So we're going to see. But yeah, so I think it's going to be a good one to watch regardless. Those games always are, I feel like. All right. Next, Vikings and Falcons. So this is the Sunday night game. I didn't really feel good about it, when I was thinking about it. But I think the Falcons, I think, are going to be, we talked about how good J.J. McCarthy looked and when he got settled in. I think he's going to have a lot of guys in the back end that are motivated, look really good playing against on the Falcons. That is, especially with what Watts and Bowman were able to do. I think they're going to bounce back. Drake London's playing, and I think, somebody somebody's out for maybe it's a corner. I should know this. A corner's out for the Vikings, I believe. So I think the Falcons are going to bounce back this week. Drake London has a big game. Give me the Falcons. I know it's a homer, but 1-1, baby, on the way. Rise up.
I'll say this: Raheem Morris, you're supposed to be a defensive-minded guy. You went and got some defensive pieces. You just let Baker Mayfield do his thing against you and a rookie wide receiver lead the way. If you're a defensive guy, go rattle this rookie quarterback. Get to the quarterback. Don't just have one sack. Like, that's kind of been their Achilles heel for years now, is not being able to get to the quarterback. Find a way. Disrupt McCarthy. Make him uncomfortable. It's going to be hard to do, but, I mean, if they can find a way to do that, it might make me believe a little more. I think the Vikings beat us. I'm going to be honest. I think their defensive line's too good, and I don't know if I believe in being able to stop Justin Jefferson, to be honest. It's as simple as Justin Jefferson on the offensive end for them. But, I mean, I do think this would be a great opportunity for Raheem Morris to kind of prove his defensive identity and try to go rattle a young rookie quarterback and sneak away the win because of it.
Yeah, I mean, that game was close that they had last year. And then after that fumble kickoff return, I think it went downhill so bad. So hopefully we don't see a repeat of that. But last game we're going to look at this week is a repeat of last year's Super Bowl with the Eagles and Chiefs playing at 4:25 on Sunday. Chiefs, again, they just don't look super impressive to me. Jalen Carter's back this week. They said him not playing the whole game was basically like his 1-game suspension. So he'll be back this week. Hopefully he doesn't lose his mind again and do that insanity. But give me the Eagles. Chiefs start off 0-2, and I think maybe the panic button starts to get hit for the Chiefs.
I think you hit it on the head. I want to get you the last 2 picks. This pick, absolutely. Eagles are just stacked, dude. Like the Bills are good, and it's hard to root against the Bills because they have Josh Allen. The Eagles are good, and they're stacked. Like it's hard to go against the Eagles just because top to bottom that roster, defensively and offensively, is just impeccable.
It's unreal.
Yeah, and then like I said, you go and add Tank, which is crazy to me. Like you don't need to add anybody, but that's what good GMs do. They continue to build and get better. So I just think Chiefs, like, yeah, I think they're just in a lull, like kind of like we were talking about, kind of going back to the Cavs, LeBron James regular season thing. It's just what it reminds me of, dude. I can't get that analogy out of my head when I think about the Chiefs right now.
I mean, and they've kind of got the LeBron of the NFL, so I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like the Eagles are more of like our foot's on the NFL's throats, and we're about to keep stepping on it. And
yeah,
shout out to them for it, because usually hate Philly teams. I talked about this last time, but it's hard to hate on the team they put together.
So we'll see. They've done the right things. The Eagles, obviously. But yeah, so we're both rolling with that one. So it seems like we're disagreeing on you got the Lions, I got the Bears, and then you got the Vikings, I got the Falcons.
Yep.
Well, we'll see with bragging rights. May or may not be. Guys, again, thank you all for tuning in. Especially with me and just us two handsome men giving you the takes. Tripp and Graham will be back with us for the most part. May or may not be here. May or may not have an episode next week. Tripp and I will be out of town, but if Logan and Graham want to take the reins, we'll see how that goes. I got all the faith in the world in them, so no doubts about that. But regardless, guys, again, appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Still working on getting everything on audio podcast, but we'll be on YouTube going forward, at least for the future, so you will be available. Logan, got anything to say as we head out?
All I got to say, life got real good this past weekend.
Oh, yeah, baby. We are back.
College football coming back a couple weeks ago was fantastic. But now you mean to tell me that I only got to get through Tuesday and Wednesday, and then I got Thursday football. Knowing college football, there's probably some MAC-10 action.
I think there's a Friday game on.
Yeah, I would say there's probably some action on Friday or something if you really want to dive into it. But then you got Saturday all day college football, all day Sunday football. Mondays suck, but you can come home and watch some Monday night football. And then once again, just got to get through Tuesday and Wednesday. It's a beautiful time of the year. I love it. Life got a lot better.
We're here, baby. We'll be here all season and probably after. So that ain't everything. Thanks again, guys. We'll holler at y'all later. Peace.
Joey's handsome.